y'all, it's Crypto Bo, and today I'm talking about the BitBox02 general purpose cryptocurrency hardware wallet. TLDR, would recommend. I think there are some drawbacks to the wallet, but I don't think they rise to the level of me saying you should not get it. So if anytime during the video you want to pick one up, click the link in the description, head straight over to shiftcrypto.ch and pick one up for yourself. Also, if you like this, the Blockchain Doesn't Lie sweatshirt, I picked it up from CoffeeZilla's online store, and it is all fucked up after only one wash. So I think we can say this, CoffeeZilla, scammer confirmed. We got him. We got him. But let's talk about what I like about the wallet, and then we'll get into my concerns near the end. Shift Crypto, the maker of BitBox, is a Swiss company founded in the fall of 2019. One thing to note is that the idea of hardware wallets is to remove as many layers of trust as possible when interacting directly with your finances. But unfortunately, you sort of have to trust the makers of hardware wallets, and generally speaking, you have to trust the team whose hardware wallet you're buying. And on that test, Shift Crypto passes with flying colors. They have an incredible team that's very communicative with their user base and responding to security issues as they arise. In fact, they're pretty good at finding security flaws in other hardware wallets and then responsibly disclosing them to those hardware wallet makers. They work pretty closely with the Satoshi Labs team, as well as some other crypto hardware wallet makers. Now, they're just now developing this wallet, which extends its usability not just for Bitcoin, but also for Ethereum. But that makes sense because one of their co-founders is actually a lead developer for the Bitcoin core team. So they come with an incredible amount of security experience, not only in physical hardware devices, but also in terms of blockchain knowledge. They have a bit of an interesting security architecture. Almost all of their code is open source except for the secure element that sits inside the chip. Right now, this device is sitting at about 119 euro, which is about $135. But you can also get their Christmas special right now for a limited time if you're thinking about picking it up either for yourself or for a loved one, either with multi-chain compatibility or Bitcoin only, which is theoretically a little bit more secure. The BitBox02 uses an open source code base, which is derived from the Trezor code base with a few notable security upgrades. But if you've watched any of my other hardware wallet reviews, you know that I prefer open source code base versus closed source code base because it gives the maximum amount of people the ability to look and audit the code. So issues end up being brought up more responsibly and more frequently, but you can trust the device is a little bit more secure rather than a closed source device, which if it's exploited, you might not know for quite some time, and the company itself might not know for quite some time because there's just not as many people looking at it. But open source code is fucking cool. You can literally build your own BitBox if you really wanted to, and that's pretty sick. But let's talk about security, which is the main reason you would want to get a hardware wallet in the first place. First of all, it comes in tamper-evident packaging, which just adds a level of complexity to an attacker's supply-side attack if they were going to try and commit one, and just makes the cost go up a little bit of any attacker who's trying to steal your funds. It may be security theater, but as I've said before, I love theater. But there's a couple really interesting features, especially when it comes to the security architecture of the device itself. It implements what's called a dual chip architecture, which relies on a general purpose microcontroller that's running open source software, and then a closed source secure chip that's used to harden the wallet itself. If you don't trust the closed source security chip, then you can actually bypass it completely and initialize your device without having to rely on its security. But I think we can be reasonably sure that it is a secure element. One of the cool things about this dual chip architecture is that if any one piece of it fails, then the device is still secure.
Not to worry, we are still flying half a ship.
One of the things I think is interesting, they've tried to harden the device against brute force attacks by limiting the total number of unlocks to around 730,000. So don't unlock it more than 730,000 times. If you do, you're gonna have to buy a new device. But 730,000 unlocks is steep, and it's a lot.
That's a lot of nuts!
I will say, and this gets into some of the drawbacks I see, is that does make it less than ideal for someone who's engaged in DeFi quite a bit. 730,000 is probably too large a number to worry about, but it is strange. It is, I think, maybe a bit of a flaw to cap the number of total unlocks possible. But again, security is all about trade-offs. One of the other cool things I like about the BitBox is that it's not only security engineers and systems architects that are working on it, but also chemical engineers. So there is a acid-resistant epoxy in the device itself, which prevents it from being opened and pulled apart. So that it can, again, prevent supply-side attacks, things like the Evil Maid attack. If it pulls apart, then it completely bricks and destroys the device. One of the other cool features is it can connect directly to a Bitcoin node. So although they have their own app, which is available on Mac, Linux, Windows, and Android, you don't have to use it if you're connecting to a Bitcoin Core client. Some other cool features, it can be used not only as a hardware wallet, but also as a two-factor authenticator. It is a native USB-C, which is nice for me because I have a Mac, and nice for some Android users as USB-C is becoming the Android standard. There's also no buttons on the device, which I think gives it sort of a sleek look. Instead, there's pressure sensors on the top and bottom of the device. But let's talk about some of the drawbacks of the product. First, they force you to back up your recovery seeds when you're initializing the device on a micro SD card rather than having you directly write them down. It then gives you the option to write down your 24-word seed phrase, but it's also stored on this micro SD card. So if you get a new BitBox, you can pop in the micro SD card, but it means that that micro SD card has to be hidden. It's also probably flimsier than, say, a billfold or any number of steel recovery seed devices. My suggestion is to initialize it, get your 24 seed words, write them down, get yourself a billfold, which you can also pick up through a link in the description. Find a place to hide that and completely destroy the micro SD card. Now, that may be incredibly paranoid, and I would say, of course it is. But why are you getting a fucking hardware wallet if you're not paranoid? Either way, I understand it's a little bit more user-friendly and that you can keep a micro SD card secure. I would just rather we rely on the 24-word seed phrases. Second, there's no iOS support, so it's not available for iPhone users, which, you know, whatever. As an iPhone Mac user, I'm gonna be mostly doing it on my computer where the app is available, but it means that I can't really interact with my hardware wallet on the go, which is not something I really do anyway, but you know, if you're looking for something with iOS support, then you may wanna look at Ledger or Trezor. Thirdly, they don't support a ton of coins. Like obviously they support all the ERC20 tokens because they support Ethereum, they support Cardano, they also don't support Binance Smart Chain, which I think is trash, or Monero, which I think is great. But they have random coins on here like Litecoin, Chainlink. They also say they support over 15,000 coins, but almost none of them are natively supported in the app. You see Bitcoin and Litecoin, Ethereum, Tether, and all these mostly stable coins, but everything else is supported through my Ether wallet rather than through native integration in the app. Even Cardano is not supported in the app. You're gonna have to use a ADA Lite client in order to interact or stake your coins on the Cardano smart chain. So like I said before, I think if you wanna store Bitcoin on a wallet like this, it's a pretty ideal solution, but some of these other coins may not be great. You can buy crypto in their app, but you cannot sell crypto in their app. Finally, even though this is a multi-chain device, there's no MetaMask integration. Now, they say that MetaMask has paused its integrations with new wallets, and they're in communication with the MetaMask team to get that up to speed. But for the time being, the only way to interact with Web3 is through Rabby, which is actually a pretty cool DeFi wallet. So it is possible to interact with DeFi, it's just not as seamless as a Trezor or Ledger, which is directly integrated in MetaMask. All those criticisms aside, I think it's a great device, and you should click the link in the description and go pick one up if you're thinking about picking up a hardware wallet. Yes, a lot of the integrations are not as streamlined as, say, Trezor or Ledger, and it's a little bit more expensive than some of its competitors, but you pay for what you get. And this is one of the most secure options on the market. The team is working hard to secure it more and more every day. I would say that it's probably best if all you want is Bitcoin. And if you're looking to do DeFi, this may not be the best option, but they are building to the point where it might be in the future. I use mostly Trezors now, but I will 100% start using this. And I don't say that about every hardware wallet. I'm Crypto Bo. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.